Alright guys, we're on a 2009 Jeep Wrangler, and the check engine light's on. He's had AutoZone do a scan, and it's an EGR code is what's got that check engine light on. So we're gonna read the code real quick, see what we got, and then see what it's going to take to fix this Jeep. So, and of course, we're using the launch today. I thought I'd give it a shot. 2009 Jeep Wrangler, 3.8 engine. And we'll just do a health report. Let it do an entire scan. Key is on. Got 2 powertrain faults. Okay, so over here we got a 1404 and a 404, both EGR. The 1404 is a closed position performance. The 404 is a position sensor performance. So, let's see. I think if we go to enter, we can go right into the PCM. And let's see, what I want to do, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do an actuation test. Okay. EGR is what I'm wanting to do, an EGR test. Right here. Do want some data stream. Okay, we can have 10 data stream pins. The flow and the sense volts are probably the two important ones. So right now we're at 0. The sense volts is 3.52. Of course, there is no flow because the engine's not running. So let me start the engine. See if there's any change at all. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and go up to 32%. Now I would expect to hear a little bit of an idle difference, and we should see some flow and should see these sensed volts change. Okay, it's showing that we're at 32%. No change in the volts, no change in the flow. Let's go ahead and go to 80%. And again, no change on either one of those. The flow should have some amount of flow, and the voltage the sensed volts should have changed. I mean, that's telling me the EGR valve is probably stuck. Now, neither one of those codes were circuit codes. Generally, a circuit code is a code that the computer has sensed that there's something wrong with the wiring or the coil inside a solenoid. So the coil inside this EGR valve, if it was open or shorted, I would expect to have gotten a circuit code. If the wiring itself was open or shorted, again, a circuit code. This is a performance. Both these are performance and a sensor position related code. Now, these Jeeps do have a very bad reputation for the EGR valves going bad. So more than likely that's what the problem is. And they're tough to get to. I wish I could easily get to the connector on this EGR valve. Let me go out there and show you that. I'll show you where this thing lives. Probably going to need a light. There's my light right here. So you get up here, and let's see, where's the camera at? Right Yeah, you can see the connector a little bit. You can see the solenoid. Where this tube, this is the EGR tube right here. So if you follow it down, it goes down. Let me move these heater hoses. There's the EGR valve right there, where that tube's connected. That's what we got to get to. Now, like I say, ideally, if I could get to that connector easily, I would like to hook a test light to that and do that actuation test and see if that test light lights up. And I'll probably still do that, but I'm going to have to be able to get to that. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this fender skirt out. You got to pop these rivets off. I'll show you the easiest way to do that. And then you got a bolt here, and then some Christmas trees. I think 2 or 3 of those Christmas trees. Pop those out, and that fender skirt pops right out of there. I think first I'm going to just go after this 10mm bolt. Then these little Christmas trees right here just pop out of here. I say just. It's cold out, so these things are kind of probably brittle. There we go. I think that's all of them. Oh, there's one more right here. Now these rivets, they're plastic. And all you got to do is cut them off. If you've got a good pair of flush cut dikes, or these right here are actually made to get underneath those Christmas trees and stuff and get them pulled out of there. And I use them to cut these rivets off. Some people will drill them out. You can drill them out too. To me, it's just quicker to cut them off than it is to drill them. Sorry about that. And that fender skirt will pop out of there. Now you can see the EGR valve right there. So let me get what I'm going to need for that. Okay, I'm going to try where I've got the camera. I'm going to try to get around it so that you guys can have a good view. And it's vital to have the right kind of tools. That feels like a 10mm. And when I say the right kind of tools, so this is one of my favorite ratchets. It's a very small 1/4 inch swivel head ratchet, and I think that's probably going to be a very good tool for this job. A little cheater putt. Now that back one's the bear to get to, but again, the right tools are key to this kind of work. And I'll tell you what probably worked good for this one right now. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is pop this O2 sensor connector off so that will give me just a little bit more room on the bottom side. Let's see. So I've just got a regular wrench right now. What I was hoping able to get drop a ratchet wrench. This is obviously the toughest part of this job, is getting this back bolt. Alright guys, let me show you what I did with this. So the tube itself, the transmission dipstick tube, is all in the way. So what I did was I pushed it over toward the inboard side as much as I could with a pry bar, and it kind of tweaked it out of the way just a little bit, but it would spring back. And unless you have a helper to hold that out of the way, this was my solution. I just took one of these small straps, ratchet straps, put it on the top side of the dipstick tube, put it over here on the body of the car, and I just ratcheted it just a couple clicks, and it springs. I mean, you can literally take that tube and you can push it yourself out of the way, but obviously you can't hold it from up here and get underneath the car. So you can either have someone hold it or ratchet that out of the way like that. And let me show you what that did for me. So I've got my ratchet now, and I'm on the bolt right there. And whenever I release that ratchet strap, it will obviously let that tube spring back to its natural position. Wasn't one of Chrysler's better ideas, I can tell you that. these off. So now we just got to deal with the connector. Of course, they didn't give you no room for the connector either. And hopefully you can see that connector. What you gotta do, first have patience, which I'm kind of short on a lot of times. Gotta move this red deal out of the way. That's the lock. And the connector should come off. I'm trying to stay out of the camera and it's kind of tough. Alright. See how easy that was? And there you have it, guys. There's the removal of the EGR valve. And I wish that I could get that connector up high enough. So that's the bad thing about this design is to do proper troubleshooting, you need to have access to that connector. And they've made it to where it's very difficult to get to the connector. They could have done a better job. Alright guys, so here's the new one. And obviously the first thing you want to do is get that connector hooked up. So let's see how easy that's going to be. A lot of times you can pull on the connector just a little bit. Try to get a little bit of slack, but you don't want to pull too hard because you don't want to obviously mess it up. Get it? Okay, maybe I got it. Yeah, I guess I did get it. Okay, before I go any further, I just want to make sure that electrically this thing's working. Let's go over here to the Jeep. It's cold out, guys, and I don't like working in the cold. I should have put this job off. So right now we're at 0. Shut this door. I'll stop them dinging. Well, maybe it won't. So I'm going to go ahead and crank this thing up. We'll just do 32%. What I'm expecting to see is a change. No, we're not going to see anything on flow. But we should see something on the sensed volts. So let's just go to 32, I guess. Maybe I didn't hit it. Yeah, there it is, 32. Okay, the voltage did drop a little bit. Let's go to 64. And I can hear something out there kind of humming. There we go. 64%, we're at 1 volt. Let's go to 80. Click 80 right there. Should see 80 pop up here. And our voltage now is dropping down to 0.68. So electrically, the EGR valve appears to be working. So let's go back to 0. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back to 0. Okay, I think it just dropped to 0. Let's go back to 80. Yeah, I heard it click out there. 0.67, 65, back to 0, 389. So that's good. That's good. Let's see, let me try to position this camera to where it's as much out of my way as possible. Make sure the connector is on. So one thing you wouldn't want is to only have the connector on halfway and then pop off later on. Okay, so that's just about getting the gasket and that bolt in. I think it's going to be easiest to... Oh great, the new gasket's a little bit tweaked. Oh, comes with new bolts. Well, it comes with all new bolts. Well, that's cool. There's those two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the bottom one out for now. I'm just putting this top one in. Again, working with one hand. Camera, you guys wouldn't believe how much that camera's in my way. Okay. I think I actually got it started. I'm going to go ahead and put this bottom one in. Which way do I need to go? I need to go that way. I'm going to start with the ratchet wrench. I'm going to have to look up and see how much time that the book calls out for on this. Because I think the book tells you to remove the intake. I think. And you don't want to be real tight on that, otherwise if you ever have to replace it again, you might snap those bolts off. So probably wouldn't be a bad idea to put anti-seize on it. I probably should have put some anti-seize on it before I put these in there, but too late now. And like I say, this particular, I don't know if all these EGR valves come with all the new hardware, but this one did. I know I'm kind of nudging the camera, I think, but just going to get a feel for it by hand. All right, mounting bolts are in and tight. These two are in and tight, connectors on. So I guess the next step that I'll do is show riveting the, let me show you this. Now another way, you can take this inner fender liner off with the fender. Now let me zoom out. Oh, I am zoomed out. With the fender. The problem, now these are just little inserts that snap in. The problem with these is that if you do that, make sure you order these ahead of time. These are special inserts, plastic, inserts, and they will break. You will not get all these out without breaking them. But you can do it that way. That way you don't have to pop the heads of these plastic rivets off. You can just take the Christmas trees out, that one 10mm bolt, and then pop these out, and the whole fender will come off with the fender liner. But you are going to break these, most likely. I've never taken these fenders off without breaking at least a few of these on each fender. So, and these are, as you can see, they're kind of weird looking. The only place I've ever seen them is on these Jeep fenders. So you can do it like that if you want to. And let me show you. So let me release the tension on the tube here, and you'll see how much spring. See how much that sprung back? So to me, that was the easy fix. You're probably still going to have to push it a little bit down here with a pry bar or something to push it inboard, but it's going to want to spring back this way. But you can just use a small ratchet strap or whatever and tweak it out of the way. So I'm going to get set up here to put the fender liner in, and I'll show you how easy that is. Once it's all in, it'll kind of snap and want to stay right where it's at. And just shove the Christmas trees back in. And then I'll put a link to the, it's not a very expensive kit. Comes with a variety of rivets. Now you just take your rivet, and there you have it. There you go. We're officially done. Let's go start it up. And then I'll finish putting that other stuff together off camera because you guys don't care about seeing that. Alright guys, so let's see. What I'm expecting to see is a change in the voltage whenever I change the duty cycle. And a change probably in idle. I don't know for sure if we're going to get a reading for flow. This system doesn't have like an EGR flow sensor. It probably uses O2 readings or something to determine the EGR flow. I'm not sure. So if it is O2 sensors, they're not fully warmed up right now. So, you know, it's cold out. The vehicle's cold. So I don't know if we'll see anything there. But we should see idle difference and voltage difference here. So let's start it up. Okay, we don't have anything there, so let's go to, we'll go to 32% to start with. Okay, I didn't see any change there. Let's go to 64. Huge change with voltage. Vehicle's barely running. Hopefully you can hear that. Let's go to 48. It's running a little bit better. Rev it up. The RPMs are high enough that you know it won't have that big of an effect on it. So the EGR valve's definitely opening the way it should. Let's go back to 0. So yeah, it looks like everything's good. So this should fix the problem. Another job done. It's cold. It's miserable. And I keep asking myself, why do I keep doing it? Anyway, this looks like it's done. Yeah, as far as the pounds per hour, as far as the flow, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one. I don't know if it takes a while for the computer to calculate the flow before it can read anything. You know, if it's O2 sensor driven, it might take a few drive cycles or a little bit of driving before that pops up. But we did see a change in the sense volts and the idle. The idle's the big one. If you open the EGR valve up, you should definitely see a difference in the idle on any car. If there's no difference in idle, that EGR valve's not opening. So anyway, we're done. You guys take care. Just another quick tip. Some people may not think about it, but when you're working on these Jeep Wranglers, whenever you've got to deal with getting back here in the back, set the hood all the way back against the windshield. As long as you do it easy, you won't damage the paint. If you're really worried about it, you can put a piece of cloth or cushion or something there. But it really opens up the whole top side of the engine bay so you can access stuff a lot easier. So the only thing left on this is putting the tire back on, closing the hood, resetting the codes, and this job's done. Here's the old one. There's what I'm talking about as far as all that carbon buildup. You may be able to clean these out. You know, this being an OEM part, if you cleaned it up real good, there's a possibility that you'd have a better valve than a aftermarket. But I don't know. I'm not saying that's possible or easy to do, but it's an option. You guys take care. We'll see you in the next one.